Parrots, like other birds, have some specific dietary requirements. So, before we get into exactly which parrot foods to feed, let's take a close look at the nutrients they need. Vitamin deficiency in parrots is among the top causes of illness. It is generally caused by a lack of fresh fruit and vegetables in the parrot's diet. We take a closer look at which foods contain which vitamins later in the article, so for the time being, let's examine which ones are essential for your parrot's health, and what happens if your bird doesn't get enough of them. Vitamin A. For birds, vitamin A is very important for the growth and repair of tissues, the proper function of the eyes, hearing and bones. Early signs of vitamin A deficiency include scaly feet and faded feathers, but left untreated, far worse symptoms can develop. These include difficulty breathing and a lack of mucus being produced around the eyes, throat and nasal passages. A chronic lack of vitamin A can lead to very serious illness, so it is absolutely critical that foods high in this vitamin are regularly fed. Vitamin B. A lack of B vitamins, particularly B6, B9 and B12, make it very difficult for your parrot to break down food and absorb the nutrients. The presence of B vitamins also enables birds to cope with stress during times such as mating and molting, which can have a significant knock-on effect to overall health. Vitamin D. Birds require relatively high levels of vitamin D to help them absorb essential minerals such as calcium. Therefore, a lack of this essential nutrient can lead to a number of health problems, including low egg production, soft shells, soft or overgrown beaks, fractures, seizures, spayed legs and bent knees. Like humans, parrots and other birds rely on sunlight to make vitamin D. They secrete oil from their preen gland and while grooming, spread the oil all over their coat. In wild birds, when the oil is exposed to sunlight, it reacts to create vitamin D, fulfilling the bird's needs. However, domesticated birds that are kept indoors don't get adequate access to sunlight to make sufficient levels of vitamin D, so require a dietary supplement. Calcium. We've already talked about the effects of a lack of calcium when we looked at vitamin D, but the story doesn't end there. Calcium is critical for bone and beak structure, as well as the connective tissue and feather structure. It plays a role in mood too and is linked to anxiety. In short, the need to ensure your bird has sufficient calcium in their diet cannot be underestimated, so this must be taken into consideration when deciding what to feed your pet. Protein. Protein forms the building blocks of muscles and tissue, meaning a deficiency in your parrot's diet can lead to reduced muscle tone. This may result in an inability to fly, to carry out other physical activities, and eventually to boredom and depression. The challenge here is that birds require a range of proteins and amino acids to be healthy, and they're not all available from one source. Another issue is that the most obvious sources of protein are seeds and nuts, and whereas these do form part of a wild parrot's diet, some can be high in fat, so care is needed when deciding which to feed and in what quantities. So, we know that if parrots don't get all the nutrients they need, their health can soon begin to suffer. This doesn't just apply to our African greys, macaws, lovebirds, conures and cockatiels, the same is true of parrots in the wild. So, how do wild birds ensure they get their full quota of vitamins and minerals? The key is eating a variety of foods. There are around 400 species of parrot on the planet, and within that group there is a lot of variation in size, color and behavior. Their diets vary too and are based on what is available in the environment in which they live. On the whole, however, a wild parrot's food intake consists of seeds, nut, fruits, vegetables, leafy vegetation, grasses and occasionally insects. As you can see, it's an extensive list. It makes sense, therefore, that if we want our birds to live long, healthy, happy lives, we too must feed them the variety of foods that fulfill all their dietary needs.